Minutes, Resolution 25-180 to accept the minutes of October 15th, 2025.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? So go. Public comment, to allow members of the public to comment or reserve time to speak on an upcoming agenda item. Is there anybody in the public that wants to speak at this time? I'm going to call on District Attorney Maloney.
Thank you. I appreciate you introduce people from my office early in the meeting. I was talking with the office and realized that they had not yet had their meeting, all of you. And I asked them if they would come. And so, or if you wanted to just come on up, don't be shy. So, first of all, we have right here Libby Marston. Libby lives in Madison. She was the team leader for 10 years at Walmart before coming to join us at the DA's office. And she just never met you, and she's a legal secretary with us. So I wanted to introduce her. And then we also have Leslie Knowles. Leslie lives in Pittsfield, and she was with KeyBank as a float teller for over 3 years before coming to join us. And then we also have Pam Grant, who lives in Bingham. And Pam was the administrative assistant at Valley High School in Bingham before coming to join us. And then last but not least, we have Assistant District Attorney Evan Tubaker. Evan is a graduate of both Orono and the Maine Law School. And he was an intern when he was in law school. He was an intern in the Kennebec District Attorney's office, where he got to have great success in the courtroom. He won an OUI trial against Eric Banda, which is really actually quite feat. I mean, I will say Derek is an excellent attorney, and he tries a lot of cases. So that obviously impressed us. And then Evan is also just incredibly hard worker and a very positive person. And this is the first time that Somerset now has 4 attorneys in this office. And that's not because I got new positions from the state, because you know the state's not giving me any new money. This is because I moved one of the positions from Kennebec County to Somerset County, because Somerset, the numbers have grown exponentially, and so the help is needed here. So it just means Kennebec has one less attorney, but Somerset gets one extra, and so Evan is filling that new role for us.
Well, Mr. Toothaker, where do you live?
I currently live in Augusta.
Okay.
Evan's father is Jeff Tubaker, who is a defense attorney in Ellsworth.
Oh, I was wondering.
If it sounded familiar.
I know Jeff, yes. We've tried a couple of cases. Yeah.
Nice.
Say hi to him. But you should definitely move to Somerset County.
Oh, yeah.
Your life will never be the same.
Still moving point.
I will say both Amanda and Frank used to be in this office, and now they're in the Kennebec office, and they were very jealous of Evan today, and feeling like they wish they were back here, because Evan got to help tackle someone in the courtroom today.
Wow. Exciting day.
More excited than we had.
Your father would be proud of you.
He told me he was.
He's even got a bruise to prove it.
The workman's comp now. Well, congratulations and welcome.
Thank you.
Glad to have you here. Thank you, and hopefully we never have to meet professionally again.
You say that wouldn't be a good thing.
I'm very lucky. They're all incredibly hard workers, wonderful people, and it's just it's a very positive atmosphere to have such wonderful people.
And they cover Somerset County well. They're well represented. Thank you.
And having worked in and out of this building for 40 years, it's a great place to work. It's great working for the county. Don't be strangers. Circulate around.
Yeah, we're here.
Great.
Oh.
Thank you for letting me introduce them to you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I promise I'll come up and come upstairs tomorrow.
And I'll just listen.
Thank you, Megan.
Thank you.
And again, I just want to reiterate that this is a public comment. Is there anybody who wants to reserve time to speak on an upcoming agenda item? I won't let you speak if you don't say so now.
I have a request for funds in, and I'd be happy to answer any questions when that comes up.
Is there anybody else? I see.
I will say there are two gentlemen from Jack and Moose River Fire that may have comments regarding the first or second workshop.
They're so quiet that I didn't think that they had anything to say. And they don't really want money.
Oh, we definitely do need the money.
Oh, okay, got him. Woke him up. All right. Thank you. So we'll go to the workshop. So first is our presentation of the FY27 Somerset Unorganized Territory Budget. David.
First, I want you to know my philosophy when it comes to the culinary budget is put in all the numbers I've been given. So that's why we're up 16.48%. The three areas that are showing the most increase, law enforcement, the sheriff would like to get a third deputy up to the UTs, and getting a new deputy and totally outfitting them with a cruiser and equipment is pretty expensive. So that's one of the large increases. The other are bridges under capital, and we are getting a quote from an engineer about replacing one of our bridges. It's been deteriorating, and the state is now on a year-to-year basis on examining the bridge for faults. That's basically what it amounts to.
Is that the one in Lexington?
Yeah, that's Lexington on the back road across the Sandy Stream. It's a pretty wide span, and we get reports on bridges. Several of our bridges are not meeting their requirements. They've posted several of our bridges, this being one of them, and I thought we could repair it, and the engineer basically said, you'll be back every 5 years if you just do repairs. So he's going to send me a quote. I've not received the quote yet, but for replacing the span, I think it's like 31 feet long, so it's a rather substantial bridge. I have had funding under bridges before. One of our bridges, according to the state, DOT classifies the last roundup road. We have two 6-foot culverts side by side. And because the width of the span, they don't consider those culverts. They consider those a bridge. So we took care of that this year, and I took $220,000 out of our bridge fund to pay for this. So we're basically replacing what we spent this year for the next budget. So I've got $200,000 under bridges there, but we'll have to keep funding that line until we make a determination on what to do with that bridge over Sandy Stream. The other one is capital roads. We're over $1 million requested in this budget for capital roads. We have 3 projects planned on. Emden Road in Concord is going to get fabric and gravel. It's about a mile long, I believe. We have Northern Road in Tom Hegan. That's going to have about 3,000 feet with some more fabric and gravel put down. And then paving the Long Falls Dam Road. We usually break that up into 4 different pieces, and we pave a section each year. We didn't pave this current year because we had a lot of culverts that needed to be either replaced or slip lined. So we actually have people out there slip lining this fall some of the deep culverts when you're 20 or 30 feet into the ground. Digging them up and trying to do something with traffic is very difficult. So we determined slip lining will give us the improvement we need. And once we've got all the slip lining done, then we'll move in and pave the road above them. So those are the 3 of the largest bearings on our increase of I think $471,000. If you go to the last page, or the second to last page of the budget, you have our county breakdown. That's all that colorful one with all the different lines, colors. In the second of the page, then it breaks down our budget into the categories the state wants. So the state's information is all on one page, and it shows $471,825 and change is the increase in this FY27 preliminary budget over the current 2026 budget. We have several ways of reducing that if it's the commissioner's decision, and if you did not want to do anything in this budget and leave it at 16.48%, we're still under the tax limitation, even by doing that. One of the pages I gave you has the tax limitation on it, and it looks like this. And that determines how much money we can spend without going to the budget committee. And we have been under the cap for many years now. And even with a 16.48% increase, that still leaves us about 4.88% under the cap. So if you didn't want to do anything with this budget, we're still okay the way it is. If you do want to do something with this, to discuss with you and I, the funds used in the past to reduce the budget. If you look back at the tax limitation form, these 3 years in yellow, we had a commissioner that said he wanted to reduce the budget. He wanted flat or reduced. So for 3 years in a row, we turned in a flat budget. One of those years required $107,000 out of TIF to put towards capital buildings. So we have used TIF funds before to reduce the budget. And the third sheet I gave you looks like this. This is if we choose to use TIF funds, what we can reduce the 16.48% to smaller numbers. And I had it at 0, which is the 16.48. We don't do anything. If we do $250,000 from TIF and put that into this budget as revenue, it drops the increase to 7.75%. $300,000 from TIF gives us 6%. $350,000 brings us down to 4.26. And if we go $400,000, that brings us down to 2.51. And I just use those as some benchmarks to give you an idea on how TIF funds can influence our budget and the amount of increase.
How much money do we have in the TIF funds?
Well, we had, I think, 1.3 or so. It's actually in the form Patrick gave you. He gave you a fund balance. We received a check today, which I believe is from the NECEC corridor for $450,000, I believe. So, and we've got another check coming later this month for, it's going to be close to $1 million from the wind farm. We keep half of that, so we'll have another $500,000 coming in from that. So we certainly have funds in TIF to do everything we've considered doing out of TIF. If we do want to use some to reduce this budget, we have it available.
This is probably an unfair question, and it's kind of a stupid question, but if the budget, if the 16.48% increase, how does that affect the sort of average taxpayer in DT?
I actually have not considered that, not calculated that. The state actually has a larger impact, I think. You did that, right, Tim?
Well, this budget would be close to what the state's services budget was.
So whatever the state does has an impact just the way ours does. And we've looked at it in the past where we were scrimping and saving and trying to get it as low as possible. The state wasn't doing that. So it really wasn't reflecting particularly well on what the average taxpayer paid when we were trying to cut it down really low. So, and as the yes, go ahead.
If we make a,
If the state stayed level and the other portions, there's 3 different portions, if they stayed level, with that increase, it would be a 5% increase overall. Assuming they stay level.
To the taxpayers?
Yes, to the taxpayers.
So it'll be a plus 5 mill rate, or
No.
No,
5%.
it's 5% over and above what they're paying now. So if they're paying $100, it'd be $105.
Right. So with the way TIF work, how if we weren't receiving these TIF funds, if they went directly to the state instead of pulling TIF, how would that reflect on these numbers?
They would have more of a tax base.
Yeah, it would
So
impact our tax.
it would actually be so the state would actually cover more. Correct.
Well,
right.
the
So
state-
we're basically capturing this before it goes to the state.
Yeah.
The state would spend it in this way, which would reduce the budget, the overall budget.
Well, it would allow the state to capture more value when they assess their property, because we capture all the value of the wind towers, and we split that with the wind company. We capture 2 townships of the CMP corridor, so we capture that money and we keep it all. There's no deal with CMP to give them a portion of it. So when you reduce that value, I'm just going to use round numbers. If you reduce that valuation by $200 million, that's $200 million that's not raised directly to help the taxpayer. So if we didn't capture that money, you could say it would lower everyone else's tax bill in the UT by a little bit.
Right.
But you don't necessarily have the same control of utilizing that TIF as you do currently.
Right. And my impression of the idea for me anyway, of having the TIF is for us to have say on where that money goes.
Yes.
And in this situation, I do have a question about the bridge on Sandy Stream, but in this situation, if we can reduce the overall added expense to the taxpayer and have better roads, bridges, and public safety. If we don't do that, we're not doing our job, as far as I'm concerned. That's what we're supposed to be here for.
But so Pat, just make sure I understand. So if we put in this budget unreduced, a 16% increase, you'd expect with the state's shenanigans,
Yeah.
a 5% increase is your ballpark?
Right, if they don't increase, but the chances are they're going to increase.
Right. But 16%? Probably not. Who knows? Okay.
I guess the question is, our 16% equals how much of a mill rate increase?
It's about a third of the total value, isn't it?
And that requires some math that we haven't done yet.
Yeah.
We would require to hear that.
Because we're going to assume that the valuations that were just revalued on residential property are going to stay constant, right? There's not going to be a big jump in valuation when they do next year's assessment. However, the CMP corridor has not been turned on yet, and once that's turned on, that valuation will tick up some more.
Yeah.
So that will impact the mill rate. I think it's hard for us to drill down to what a $400,000 increase in the county tax does to the homeowner and their tax bill.
This is total budget scale, but in the rest of, is there any comparison to be made between what potential increase there is for a UT taxpayer compared to what potential county tax increase there's going to be for a non-UT Somerset County taxpayer? And do you try to keep those the same, or are they just totally unrelated to one another?
I think they're totally unrelated.
They're really unrelated.
I think the only similarity is the approach and the principle.
Yeah.
I mean, if Dave's recommending funds that can be transferred into lower the increase, we're going to make the same pitch when we do the county budget, because we have fund balance that we can use to make sure it's reasonable. 2 to 3% is reasonable. In this market, 16% is not reasonable.
Right.
So,
Now, last year was 5.06 was the UT increase. So, like I said, preliminary, I just put the numbers in.
Yeah.
We send them to the state, they put their stuff together, but we go over the final budget much more in detail. I'll have more answers from some of the towns. They haven't gotten me all their numbers yet for the service charges.
Yeah.
So it'll be much tighter budget, and we have used $300,000 of undesignated funds already in this budget to bring it down to 16.48%. Last year, I think we did 185,000 in undesignated. So we had more undesignated funds for this budget coming up, the 27 budget. But still, with the three large line increases, we're still at 16.48. We can certainly take out some of the things we put in there, fund them smaller amounts if necessary, or because we do have sufficient funds in TIF, which is tax dollars too, we can certainly bring this budget down pretty much to whatever number you choose.
So on the Sandy Stream Bridge,
Yep.
are we mandated? I mean, does that have to be a state project, or can that be contracted privately?
Oh, it's going to be private contractor. It's our bridge. It's our responsibility. So
Good. So that
yeah, we put it out
substantially-
RFP.
Okay.
So I'll just mention one more thing on TIF. As Dave mentioned, we received $450-some thousand for our TIF portions of the corridor. And last year, the valuation only generated about $190,000.
Yeah.
So you've seen that valuation has jumped once already. I would anticipate, safe to say, that the county will receive for the next 28 years about $500,000 out of that NECEC TIF. And that TIF is designated specifically for capital, roads, buildings, bridges.
Yeah.
So assuming we are able to get the projects done that need to be done, and in the future, maybe we won't have to spend $1 million or $1.2 million to keep these projects maintained. I give him credit. That road commissioner, as old as he is, he's done a good job keeping track of everything.
Must be in the load.
And so the theory would be, if you can maintain for less, then you don't have to utilize as much of that NECE TIF. So the other thing, if I may, while we have folks from Jackman here, if you go to page 4 on Dave's budget, you'll see line 1756, which says UT Jackman. The third line down there, 4580, is fire services. We talked about this with Chief Jarvis at the last meeting. So I'm assuming, Dave, that figure of $21,980 is based on the budget that Jackman Moose River Fire gives you.
Usually, yes.
Okay.
This year, those numbers came from their town office.
Okay.
And I got an email this morning from Bill Jarvis, and his numbers don't match these numbers.
Right.
So when we do the final, these lines will be higher because he has added in funding for equipment,
Yeah.
which he never did before. So we're going to have an extra line under these for equipment charges. So I need to call him to confirm those numbers because it didn't look quite right to me. But once I get that, those will be different, and that will be in the final budget. So
Just to refresh our collective memories, we talked about this with the chief to Commissioner Cezak's question, what would you do for a fire truck if you didn't have access to TIF dollars? And now they're going to start setting aside money every year. If they do that as part of their operating budget, the county can contribute a third of that, and they'll hold it in a separate reserve account. So I just wanted to make that case because we're going to be talking about that.
Yeah, that's right. We discussed that at our last meeting as well.
So as far as what I need, you can let me know if you want this to go in as a preliminary draft to the state as is, or if you want to start by reducing this sum with TIF funds, I can make the adjustment and get this out to the state tomorrow. So it's going to be up to you if you want to reduce this first before it goes in, because you can always make changes before we do the final draft. There's no problems with that.
So historically, does, as far as the state is concerned, it's just math? It's just...
Yeah, it's
Okay,
formula.
so regardless of what we do, the state's going to do what they do. So we're not
Yes.
going to influence
No.
their decision-making by what we do. So
No.
I am in favor of reducing that 16% by as much as we possibly can. I can't think of any reason why we would want to have millions of dollars in the bank and have property tax payers pay more. That makes zero sense.
That's why I gave you an idea with the amount of money, what percentage increase are you happy with?
Yeah.
So this gives you an idea, and if you come out and you say, I want 0%, then I'll just add in whatever it takes to get down to 0%. If we leave this alone, it's $471,000. We could literally take that out of TIF and make this a zero budget if we chose to. I'm not
So
sure that's the best.
400,000 is 2.5.
Yeah.
One. What is zero?
It should be about the 471,000, I think.
So under 500 grand.
Now, I agree with 99% of what Joel says, as I usually do.
As usual.
But it seems, I'm under the impression that people that live in UT traditionally pay a substantially lower amount of real estate taxes than they would have the same property been in a town.
Yes.
And that a justification for paying lower taxes that we've heard in this room is that they receive less police and fire protection.
Yes.
But this budget actually calls for a significant increase in police protection. And also, I assume if we're paying for brand new fire trucks in the Jackman area, that they're
Not
also,
brand new.
Well,
Not brand-
new to us.
New to them.
Newer.
Yeah.
New to the market. And so it would seem to me a justification for a modest increase in taxes, given the fact that they are receiving more services, the lack of which they previously.
The other thing to consider is the growth in the UTs in the past year are 11.61%. So that's how much the value of our UTs increased over the year. Some of that was due to the revaluation, and some is just due to what's being built.
Yeah.
So we have that, of course, that increases our tax limitation cap. 3.5 million is what our current cap is. So I certainly feel some increase is justified. But that's a determination commissioners make. Pick a number you're happy with.
But if
we can reach it.
If we took these numbers down to zero tax increases, as Joel suggests, now we change our mind later by the time we adopt the final budget. We're not stuck with that.
No, we're not stuck with anything until we turn in the final.
Okay.
And then if there's some huge emergency, like the bridge collapses or something like that, or some kind of a similar situation where there's an emergency, we can go to the state and try to add things into the budget. I've never had to do that, but I know it was done many years ago.
So question is, so if we set it at, just for argument's sake, if we set it at zero, what the state is going to do is not going to keep it at zero.
No.
Right? They're going to get a property tax increase even if we start at zero.
I would say, in their defense, they used their fund balance last year for the state services to come in flat. So the increase in the budgets was only 3% when you add them all together, and that was mainly our fund.
Well, once we get their number, then we can adjust from there as well. So
We don't see
Yeah,
their
you won't see their number until after we submit
Yes.
ours.
Are we going to be encouraging them to come up with a bigger number once they see that we are so economical on our end?
Actually, the conversations that we've had with Chip Jones, who's the UT administrator for the state, he's actually pushing for some adjustments to be made to reduce the state general services budget. So whether that's successful or not, I don't know.
But and isn't the UT budget actually all the UTs? So this doesn't affect.
At the state level, yes,
Yes,
it's
the
all
state
the
level, so
UTs.
it's all the-
The mill rate is generated for all
Right.
UTs, and every UT pays based on their valuation. So
Yeah.
because we're number one now in valuation, we pay the most for the state services. And there's a fairness question there, is how many state services does Somerset actually utilize? So.
Dave, Patrick.
I'm in favor of using the TIF to lower the budget, but for the preliminary draft, I would state that I wouldn't go below 2%. That leaves you room for, Dave doesn't have all his numbers yet or whatever, and then on the final draft, you can bring it down even more if you wish.
So if we decide to do that, that would involve us sort of later on in the day making a motion to apply $400,000 worth of TIF funds to.
No, that'd be after when we get close to our final budget, so it'll be another meeting or two.
So we're just saying this for the first time today, but I think it's going to take some action on it already.
I did put an action on them. I don't know if that's needed, Dave. I put an action on them to approve the draft.
Yes, they need to approve the draft, they need to sign
No,
it.
they're just approving
And
the
then they'll
draft.
send that into the state.
But does that also involve authorizing X amount of dollars from TIF?
It's not absolute, but it probably would be good.
Yeah, if
Give
that's
Dave
something you
some-
want to do, you just tell me, and I'll write it down here, I'll just rewrite the budget, but signature page is by itself, so I can make changes.
Radar, right?
So, the 2% change isn't much in the,
No, down to 2%.
down to 2%. Oh, I see.
16 down to
Yeah, okay.
Well, 400,000 gets us to 2.51.
Yeah.
So it's like, right.
And that's from our end without knowing what the state's going to do on top of it.
Yeah.
Right.
I could live with it.
So shall I do that? Just add the 400,000, and then you can sign what you have in front of you, knowing that I'll add the 400,000 into line under revenue 450 miscellaneous other revenue, which is currently an empty line. I can put the $400,000 from TIF, and that will bring us down to a 2.51% increase, and go from there.
Well, not to be a stickler for procedure, but I just think if this is going to be a resolution, I think the resolution to say we approve it with the addendum that $400,000.
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
So when we get there, let's do that.
We will lead you to, have you lead that charge when we get to the resolution.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. All set with Dr. Spencer? All right. So we are at workshop number 2, Moose River Jackman Fire TIF Community Benefit Request.
So in your packets, you should have received a paragraph from Dave with a recommendation. His recommendation is simply that $300,000 could be offered to the Jackman Moose River Fire Department for going towards the purchase of vehicles. And because it's a 2/3, 1/3 between the community benefit for the municipality and the TIF for the UTs, he would recommend $200,000 from community benefit, $100,000 from TIF. So, but as you've just experienced, you can pick whatever number you want. So.
I fully support Dave's suggestion.
Do you want to hear from the representatives from Moose River Jackman? Do you have any comments or queries?
Maybe they're just witnesses. That's what
Could be.
This is what we talked about and agreed to tentatively last quarter.
The request was for $500,000, and we told the chief that we would take a look at it and make a recommendation.
The $300,000 should give them enough funds on hand with what they already have to get both engines if they want.
And I think when we met before, the chief was just about to hit the road to go check them out. Are they?
It's already done. I did it.
Are they here?
No.
I haven't bought them yet, so.
There is a purchase and sales agreement on one, and there is a deposit check being cut from the town of Jackman next week for one. So we have purchased one. This money, if authorized, will secure a second truck.
And can I ask who you are?
I am Adam Myron. I'm a member of the Jackson Fire Department as well as on the truck committee.
Thanks for coming.
Truck committee.
So where did you travel to, Adam?
First leg was to Minnesota. That we went to a fire truck dealership up there that has a used fire truck that we looked at. That's a pumper tanker that greatly increases our water supply capabilities. That's the one that we've secured as a municipality. Then I drove down to Missouri to look at another truck that's being sold by a fire district down there. That is an engine. It's a little bit unique because it carries extra water that we need. As 98% of our fire district is rural water with no hydrants.
Yeah.
So both these trucks carry portable ponds, which will also allow us to set up water shuttle operations that we don't currently have that capability to do. So we're increasing, if we get both these, we're increasing our water carrying by almost 46 or 47%. I don't have the number in front of me. So in theory, hopefully we don't run out of water until mutually gets there.
Chief pay your mileage?
I got reimbursed for some of my travel.
Okay. So there's a resolution on this later on in your event as well.
Very good. We will move on to number 3, workshop number 3, Great Carrying Place Portage Trail Maintenance TIF Request.
So you have this information in your packet as well. Bob Donovan is here from the Arnold Expedition Historical Society. If you recall, I believe several meetings ago, the commissioners approved $500 from TIF to go toward a study. And so if you'd like to hear from Bob, I'm sure he can
We'd love to hear from Bob.
give you more information.
Oh, hi, I'm Bob Donovan. I'm here representing the Arnold Expedition Historical Society. And we maintain a trail that was established by the Native Americans, used by early travelers, and is best known now as the route that Benedict Arnold used in 1775, 250 years ago, to try to conquer or invade Quebec. The trail that we're requesting funds for is in Carrying Place Township. It's just north of Pleasant Ridge. And the route, after it was an Indian route and used by Benedict Arnold in later years, it became a road up to East Carey Pond to the sporting camps. It's shown in a 1905 topographic map there. So it was used as though like a wagon road, and I don't know what after that, possibly supply logging camps. And over the years it's become severely eroded. It's kind of more of a gully now. So what we're looking for is funds to improve the drainage, just to dig water bars. We've also got an application into the Maine Conservation Corps. They have crews of young people that would do it by hand. They dig some water bars, drainage ditches, basically get the water out of the road. And if we're successful for that, then, there's some bog bridges and some rerouting of the trail. We will, try again in another year to get that done. So are there any questions? Yes.
Who owns the land?
It's owned by Beirut and managed by Wagner. And it's basically it's a pre-existing condition that they inherited. It's the trail's in a PU-A LUPC zone, so they've got restrictions on what they can do in that zone, even though they own it and pay taxes on it.
So what does that all mean, the LUP?
Land Use Planning Commission.
It's under the LUPC jurisdiction to restrict what they can and can't do.
But your organization does not have an easement on it. It's just
No, we have a letter from Wagner saying that they, support our efforts and support, what we're doing.
And does this get you all the way over to Long Falls Dam, or is this just kind of the uphill part to?
This is just the first section, leaving. The first section's on some CFP land, but after you leave the road that goes up parallel to Lyman Lake, that first uphill section is what we're improving the drainage of. Part of the route, further west, we're on the Appalachian Trail, and then another section we have easement on. But yeah, this is just that first section. Any other questions?
All set, thank you.
You will note on the resolution, I was a little overzealous. I wrote the resolution for $10,000. Actually, the request is for $9,500. I knew you would catch that, Commissioner.
You just rounded that.
That's not a good car math, though. Never round up.
Now, we come to, let's open the RFP for the MEA vehicle. So I have 3 bids.
So while you're doing that, I'm just going to jot down the numbers. There's not a resolution to accept any bids unless you choose to add one to the agenda. And the reason I did that is because we had 3 bids, and I want EMA to be able to compare.
Yeah, we are opening the bids now, but that doesn't mean that we're going to necessarily make a decision until we digest the information further. So, from Heights, Chevrolet GMC in Skowhegan, it's a 2026 Chevrolet Silverado 1500 double cab 4-wheel drive. I don't know what the trade-in would be, but the trade-in value they have cited as $12,355, and the final bid price is $36,841. Items different than the minimum requirements listed above is that the dual batteries are not available, the remote starter not available from GM, and LED lights will be halogen. So that's the difference there. That. And then we have from they don't allow me to have sharp implements.
Keep forgetting.
Rounded edge scissors.
Okay. Closes the bid, and here's our bid.
Who's this from?
This is from Height Ford. Height Ford. Our bid is $46,821. Trade-in value is $12,000. Final bid is $34,821. And the item is different than minimum requirements listed above. No dual battery. Attaches what bid should be. A super cab and double cab are no full 4 doors. Well, they have no full 4 door. Okay. And here's
Can you just clarify, Commissioner, what type of vehicle that is? I'm assuming it's not Silverado.
they say. Oh yes.
F-150?
It doesn't say at this point, but let me go over here and look at this. It has a 4x4 XL Super Cab, which is a vehicle line F-150.
2026 model?
2026.
Thank you.
And just looking to see if there's any other pertinent. It says recommended per mic, no dual batteries. And here's another. Oh. This is something else. It's a 4x4 police super crew. for $49,075. So it looks like we have two separate bids, but on the bid,
This is why we need to take a look at that. I believe they may have put two bids in anticipating an RFP that we're going to put out today.
well, now we know the rest of the story.
That's confusing.
Yeah.
That's not good. So,
Machiavellian.
Yeah, well, that's what happens. Okay, so that's Heights. Let me see.
So, excuse me, was there a...
Actually, this police package is something that he's saying that Mike Smith had verbally requested, a full crew cab police package. Much like the latest trucks purchased by SSO.
Commissioner, we had a
Right.
conversation about it. I did not request that. Okay.
Okay, that's...
The police packages take about...
So I think that's where that second piece of information came from. I don't think it's in anticipation of anything.
Thanks for clarifying that. I wonder if that is one where they found a leftover somewhere that they had access to.
That was our discussion, Tim.
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks.
So I would imagine that the 12,000 would still be the same, and you'd subtract that from the 49 and come up whatever it comes up to. Looks like 38,075. So that's that bit. And then there's another one from O'Connor GMC in Augusta. Speaking of which, did we ever get the police vehicle from O'Connor's?
Chief, do you recall a year ago when we had a O'Connor bid that came in? I think.
Yes.
That's it. We've received that bid.
We received it, yeah, it's out in operation right now.
Okay, very good. Bid on a 2026 GMC 1500 Crew Cab, 6.5 Box Pro, $49,390, $14,000 trade-in value, final price $35,390. Load E tire substitute for LT 265 7017C rating tires. Available two 120-volt plug-ins in cab 1 and bed 1. And then here's more specs. So you can see the whole thing of what you'd be getting.
Well, it's simple. We just had one bid.
What's more exciting when you have three? It's always good to have three.
They have a lot to digest.
Let's take a look at that, think about that. And we appreciate all the bids. Thank you very much. Any questions or comments? Did you want to see the bids? Can I pass them around?
Nope.
All right.
We're not doing anything.
No, we're going to wait until we digest. So it'll be our next meeting.
I just refresh my recollection, we have a 2019
Yes.
Ford Expedition or something?
Yes.
Just like a SUV?
Yes.
Has 52,000 miles on it?
Yes.
Otherwise in good condition?
Yes.
Okay.
Low trade-in value.
Just saying.
Okay. So, moving along. We have no public hearings. Any new agenda items, commissioners only? No. Okay. Administrator report.
Well, some of you probably already know the news, but our question on the ballot, the no votes came in at 53%, and the yes votes to change the registry of deeds from elected to appointed came in at 47%. According to my unofficial estimates, about half of the amount of voter turnout this year as opposed to last year's presidential election, which is typical. But the percentages are exactly the same. So no matter how many people you get out, it's 4753. So it's just food for thought. Do that with that what you will. Reminder that at the next meeting, following the commissioners' meeting, is the District 2 caucus, where we are inviting, and we'll have to post a special kind of agenda because there will be multiple select board members from Madison, Anson, New Portland, Starks, Smithfield, and you folks will be here to represent the unorganized territory of District 2. We have had as many as 7 inquiries, and I talked to a gentleman that pulled his name out last night. So as of right now, we have 4 interested parties. It's public knowledge. I mean, Don Skillings, who is in Madison, he's on Madison's planning board. Dan Fry is from Smithfield. He's on the local school board in Smithfield. Paul Frederick from Starks, former selectman in Starks. Paul actually ran for the District 2 seat when SIP won 10 years ago. And Janet White, who you know from New Portland, she attended the last meeting. So those are the 4, but as we have explained in this caucus process, another candidate could emerge between now and the time that you meet on the 19th. So I'll be posting an agenda for that. I'll share that with everyone. And I will do my best to make sure that there is representation here from every municipality in that district.
Are those names publicly posted somewhere? Or is it just public information that you're...
They'll be included in the agenda. And so that
So
way
they're not open to the public right now, where somebody could go on a website and look.
That is correct. Other than if they listen to the recording right now.
Okay.
So
Just so curious, thinking about this. So the county commission, we get one vote. We get an equal vote with all our respective towns because we consider the UT one big town.
right.
So there are 4 of us, and then theoretically there could be a situation where we're tied. We don't have a majority vote on who we want to support. Hypothetically, so does that mean we just give a half a vote apiece to the respective candidates, or can we justify as county commissioners, since we have this enormous geographical area with many town-like towns, we could say, well, we should get more than one vote. No.
You're more equal, right? Okay.
Yeah, we're
I read a book about that in high school.
Don't we set the rules? Can't we do that?
Well, okay, Commissioner.
Actually, the caucus.
Technically, I'm not an attorney,
No.
but technically, the caucus, once it meets and they elect a chair of that caucus sets the rules.
Yeah.
So that's everybody. Now, assuming that maybe the 4 of you are split on a particular candidate, and maybe other people are, then you will have a caucus within the caucus where you can go into my office and fight it out.
Yeah.
And come back with your one person. But Madison and Starks and Anson can do the same. So
Yeah.
each town has
But each town gets one vote. It's kind of like it's per sturdy.
I remind you and the voters of Somerset, we are the only county that fills vacancies this way. So,
And I don't think there's any Robert's Rules of Order, any kind of
very little. Most of your rules defer to the Democrat-Republican call.
Yeah.
Well, we'll pass our seatbelt and see what happens.
I'm sure we'll agree, but I was just.
Oh, sure.
99% of the time, you guys are on the same side of the table.
That's what I heard.
Although with inflation at 1%, sometimes 51.
No, I don't see a lot of disagree. I'm just thinking about it.
It's going to be
It's an unusual procedure.
It's going to be a good show, I guarantee. Just a reminder that matching grant applications for the fall session are due this Friday. A few of them have already trickled in. We'll be talking about those I'll send information out to you so you take a look at those. I shared with the commissioners by email that I would prefer to wait until you have a full 5 commissioners until we take up any issues about ATV access to county roads in the Forks. So Ben Toll is going to be giving me some more information. And he's available at either of your December meetings to be able to come and speak to that. I also want to report that I have not heard back from any of the pending abatement appeals that we were holding for Palmyra. Now that we have the Superior Court decision, I have let them know, and I've given them a copy of the judge's decision. Have not heard back from anyone. And I have talked with a few folks that have filed appeals or filed appeals of abatement denials with Maine Revenue up in the UT, and Maine Revenue has been excellent to work with. Sometimes when people do their original appeal, they don't give Maine Revenue enough information. I called Maine Revenue and said, this person has more information. They said, let her talk to me, let her come and talk. She did. Maine Revenue realized that they had assessed a neighborhood wrong, and they granted her abatement. And so far so good. You got 185 days to file an abatement, but so far Maine Revenue has been good to work with. So that's my report.
Thank you. Finance reporting.
So you should have a large spreadsheet with small font. This is the way Patrick operates.
First, I'll talk about the FY 2026. Currently, where all the departments are actually running at budget or better than budget. I hate to say this, this early in the budget year, but it looks like the general fund with labor savings and the overlay could be right around $500,000 to $600,000 favorable this year because we still have some issues filling some positions. When it comes to the jail, when I say it looks like it's going to be break even, means we did have $600,000 in there to balance the budget. So I think we still need to utilize some of the undesignated fund balance to balance the jail. But at the present time, I don't think it's going to be the full $600,000. It might be slightly lower than that because our revenue is running lower than expected. The state is funding us less than what we put in the budget, and we're still having some, when it comes to outside boarding, we're still running slightly below. But the jail should be at a break even. And when it comes to the UT is hard to really take a look at until later in the year after some of the capital road projects, the snow season is done, and so on, before we can really have a good forecast on that. Now, Tim mentioned that there was a spreadsheet. I would assume it's this one you talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, the spreadsheet. As you may have heard or may not have heard, our health insurance is going up this year. Like last year, our MMEHT is really Anthem, Blue Cross Blue Shield, and that covers our non-union employees, covers our communication employees, and covers our SO employees. That went up 11.8% last year. It's going up an additional 11.2% this year. So that's almost 23% in the last 2 years. The Allegiant is our other carrier, and that covers our corrections officers. Last year it was very low, I think it was around 5%, but this year they're going up 10%. So both plans are going up double digits this year when it comes to health insurance costs. That correlates into our second half of the year. Our health insurance cost is going to go up by about $22,000 to $23,000 a month. So we should see an increase in health costs for the second half of the year of about $120,000. So some of the labor savings we're seeing now is going to go away when these health costs kick in. So with all that said, we started looking heavily at maybe other options. And this Acadia was the insurance agents that assisted us when he was looking at the paid family medical leave option. We threw out there what we currently pay, and they went out and actually they pulled Cigna, Harvard Pilgrim, United Healthcare, and Community Health Options. They took all 4 of those companies and got quotes from them. Cigna came in based on our new rates, about 15% savings. So that's about a little over around $240,000 worth of savings currently. So I guess what I'm looking from you is, of course, any questions related to this, because the Cigna plans that they quoted are, when it comes to out-of-pocket and some of them, the drug costs, drug prescription costs are actually better than our current plan. So the plans that they're quoting are actually better than the plans that we're currently on for our employees. But what I'm looking for is some type of direction on whether you would like us to pursue this in, more detail. Some of the concerns I have, concern is, one, Cigna is smaller than Blue Shield, Blue Cross Blue Shield. So the list of providers that are out there, there may be some, ease of use issues that we may, see, our employees may see. That's not proven, but this is a smaller company. And there's always, the grass is greener on the other side of the fence till you get there. There's no guarantee that if we go to Cigna, that 15% savings that we get gets eaten up in the first year with a 20% increase. There's no guarantee with that. But, so I have started, I've asked them to look at the dental and vision because they kind of roll into one. And when it comes to those costs, there's a slight savings. Nothing like the health insurance, but there's a slight savings with that.
Well, I have a question. You have these 1, 2, 3, 4
Yep.
columns, and then there's 3 columns within each of the 4 with 3 different bottom lines, and then 1 bottom line for each.
Yep.
Can you explain that?
Okay, the first set of 3, the first column set of 3, that is our current coverage through MMEHT. Okay, the second column of 3 is our our 2026 coverage costs through MMEHT. The next column of 3 is Cigna's first quote to us that assumes that we only do the health insurance through them. Okay. The next column of 3 is Cigna assuming that we do medical and dental. By you doing dental through them, they will give us an additional 2% reduction on the medical premium. Okay? In the 3 columns, in each of those columns is the coverage that we offer. We offer Acadia, which is the POSC, which is, if you want to say it's the best coverage, it comes with the highest premium but less out of pocket. Then we got the POS 200, which is Baxter. That is the middle of the road, and that's the plan that the county covers 100% of the employee. So we use that as like a baseline currently. And the last one, the Moosehead or the PPO 1500, that's our lower plan, which comes with a lower premium but higher, deductibles.
Okay. And then the bottom number.
Correct.
Is our total cost?
Yes, it's the estimate based on our current, if you want to say, elections and staffing. Mm-hmm. So, based on our current staffing, under the new MMEHT cost for FY 2020, for 2026 calendar year, it's estimated that we will have to spend $1,527,582 for health insurance. Under Cigna's plan for 2026, they state that based on their premiums, it would be $1,306,000. So it would be roughly a $220,000 savings utilizing Cigna. Now, there is one caveat in the sense that these prices are based if we moved as of January 1st, but we have to give MMEHD a 60-day notice to move. We're already in that period for 60 days if we was going to do January 1st. We can, if we, I don't know how, they would have to agree of us to do that. They could push back on that 60 days. So Cigna said that if we do a February or a March or a May cutover, that these premiums may change.
Patrick, just the bottom here, below,
Yep.
what am I looking at here? These are single, it says Acadia 19, Baxter 20. What are these numbers?
The ones down below, that's the monthly charge for the different coverages. So example, I'll look at the current Acadia for employee is $1,366.07 per month. For employee spouse is $3,064.31 per month. Employee child is $2,229.04. For families, $3,064. So that carries on throughout. So when you have like the Baxter, then it goes down through employees, spouse, and so on.
And these numbers over here, 19, 20, are these employees or?
That's the employee. That's our current elections by our employees. So
Okay.
currently we have 67 people that are signed up that go through MMEHT, and that's the different types of coverage that they are taking.
And the employee contribution for a family is minus out of that, or?
I'm sorry?
Is there?
Those numbers include the employee and the employer. That's the total.
Okay, good.
Question for you on the last section where it includes medical and dental.
Yeah.
Does the current plan include medical and dental?
Yes, MMEHD covers health, dental, and vision. They're all set at three separate, if you want to say, insurances, because you sign up for either. It's not all in one.
So what happens if we just take column number 3 that does not include medical and dental? Who covers the medical and dental?
That would stay with
So
MMEHD.
then you'd have two different insurance plans.
Right.
So that 2% discount, the 2% discount, that reflects that situation where we have two different ones, or is it just?
No, that's if we get the dental through Cigna.
Okay.
And the quote that they gave us for the dental coverage is actually will save us an additional roughly $6,000 a year. So that's one thing I wanted to make sure that we didn't eat up the 2% savings by additional dental costs, but their dental plan is actually more favorable than MMEHD.
So both sides of their plan are actually hungry.
The only, I guess, when it comes to vision, the current vision plan is better than the vision plan that they're talking. But when we're looking at the total county, we're looking at $6,000 versus $5,000. So that you don't eat up much of the savings on the vision side.
Do we, Patrick, is there anybody, similar institutions or government or private that have opted for Cigna that have some sort of experience?
You probably have more information about the counties.
So for all the counties, for the most part, I'd say probably 10 of the 16 counties are with MMEHD, Maine Municipal. Penobscot County has been with Cigna for several years.
And how did they like it?
One of the things that they chose to do, they chose to offer a no deductible plan, which was extremely expensive. I know that in their budget discussions in Penobscot last year, they opted to fund higher deductible plans with Cigna to kind of bring the costs within reason. So, but I have not heard any complaints as far as access to care.
Because were you suggesting that they had a smaller list of doctors in the system? Or?
Well, it's from what I've tried to do some research online, and they state that the providers that Cigna has a smaller list of providers. Not saying that they don't cover all the providers here. I haven't gone through and checked all that. It's just concerns that of the unknown.
Well, they would have a
when
list.
I asked the insurance agent from Acadia, they said Cigna says they overlap Anthem's, which is our current providers, by 99.9%. So they're basically saying that they have the same. Just that there's a fraction that may have issues.
Well, at this point, Anthem does not cover, or they're out of network with Northern Light. So,
Right, and I think Cigna is with Northern.
and I would, the other two providers is Covenant and Maine Health. So in Maine, those are the only those are the three providers I can think of. So unless there's private providers. Covenant is St. Joseph's in Bangor.
So it would appear that your options are roll with the increase and stay with Maine Municipal, or direct Patrick to pursue a change. And with the change comes the 60-day notice. With the change comes getting some firmer numbers, and then the fairly heavy lift for HR to guide the employees through a plan change. So, we because we have several employees that are under contract that we provide the health care for, the contract simply states that the county does reserve the right to change plans as long as it does not negatively impact the out-of-pocket expenses for the employee. And from what Patrick has found, the Cigna plan may offer advantages to the out-of-pocket expenses. But everybody likes change.
Well, yeah, I sort of feel like I'd like to know more. Patrick, is there more work that we could do on this? I mean, and then the clock is running.
I think we'd want.
Do you need to know more about the plans themselves, or do you just need to know more about the financial impacts? Because
I need you to make me feel confident in why I'm doing something like this. I don't know.
Somebody's putting in for.
I feel like these days, just from reading the newspapers, everything from Northern Lights to what's going on in Washington, that everything's just in sort of in the healthcare biz is in total flux, and I'm sort of nervous about rocking the boat. But on the other hand, saving a substantial amount of money. So.
Yeah, from my perspective, I mean, I'm very much in favor of saving the taxpayer money in this situation, especially where a large percentage of those taxpayers have no insurance at all. So making sure that they're not paying more than they need to is where I stand.
there's no guarantees. I can't say that they won't go up 25% next year.
Oh, we don't know.
Nor the other.
Yeah, anybody, yeah.
Well, there's nothing that says that we do this, that we can't go back. I don't think.
Yeah, and we have a reputable company with an experience factor, at least in Bangor, that seems to be working out okay.
Employees won't be happy to look at that back and forth.
I think for me, as long as we just say the same or better, then it would behoove us to move forward and try to get something.
That's why I asked the question, because if you want to get comfortable that plans are equal or better, Kevin and Robert, who are the that I've been, are more than happy to discuss it, because they they are offered, when we get that, if we get to the point where we was going to discuss it with the employees, that they would come in to make the employees feel comfortable on not only the plan, but how to switch and do the paperwork and all that good stuff to help the transition to be as smooth as possible.
Right. It'd be good if they came in. We'd appreciate that. We also would like to have some sort of heads up on a adjustment for February, March. It looks like it would more likely be March at this point in time.
Well, that's the thing. If you can, I guess, give a somewhat firm cutover period, then I can give that to them. They can give it to Cigna, and they can work up some final numbers of what it will be. But then we just have to work on transitioning, the 60-day notice and all that.
Well, that's why I suggested March.
Well, if we decide to do this at our next meeting, that's November 19th or something, that would be basically December or January, should have a go date of February, I think.
Okay.
It could be.
I'll ask for firm numbers for February 1st.
And can you, for February 1st or March 1st?
February 1st.
Well, set February 1st.
Okay. And then, am I understanding that you would like to schedule representatives to come and talk to you at the next meeting?
On the 19th, if
Okay.
possible, yes.
Because it's fully understandable. You're just digesting this information now. But,
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And these three plans here would be the substitute for the existing three plans. Right.
And keep in mind, on the 19th, we're doing the caucus too, so plan accordingly, right?
Right.
I'll lighten the agenda. No ATV traffic.
I'll try to speak less.
Let me write that down.
He's on record.
Yes, yeah, it's public. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else in finance reporting?
That's all I have.
Thank you. Mike. Deputy Mike.
We're right now transitioning into a new software for record management called Central Square, which you guys are all familiar with, and we're going through those the implementation right now, and it's slow going, and it sounds like a pretty good software, and it's some growing pains. It's going to take some time getting used to it and working the bugs out, and that's what we're going through right now. We've hired a new deputy, as you know. He's in training right now and going through the FTO period, doing well. We have two potentially new deputies in the pipeline right now, going through testing procedures, polygraph, background, psychological evaluation. I suspect if everything goes well, it'll be first of the year. By the time we get it done, we'll be able to hire them. We have one deputy at the academy right now. They just completed this will be the completion of week number 10 out of an 18-week school. As you know, we had two deputies in that class. One of them's been involved in a traffic accident on a weekend and is recovering at home. He's been in the office a couple times, doing quite well in his recovery, but I don't anticipate him back to work until after the first thing.
On the Central Square, wasn't that a collaborative effort with other towns?
Yes.
And so that's still...
We're all going through it at the same time. We're all going through it at the same time.
Yeah. And all the other municipalities and partners are still on board?
They are.
Working through? Good. Okay. I knew it was a lot of growing pains there.
Mm-hmm. Be a while.
Yeah. So, any other questions for Chief Deputy? Seeing none. Mike Smith?
We're obviously working on a transition plan, going through a lot of the financial pieces and the grant reporting and those different pieces. The deputy director's position has been posted. Applicants are coming in hit or miss. We've been working on a supplemental Homeland Security grant, and when I say a supplemental, it's actually funding that had not been committed in the first round of grant this year. However, the first round of grant is still on hold, and with the federal shutdown, I don't expect we're going to see that open up anytime soon. The Emergency Management Performance Grant that we use as our match to the budget was awarded and then taken away from us, as I informed you earlier, and that is still on hold. So we hopefully have that cleared in the near future, and we'll be able to start requesting reimbursements. As far as the grants go, we're working on closeouts of some of the previous year's grants, and no two grant has the same reporting or the same process for closeout or anything else. So we'll work around those, which we're getting to. And right now, the only large project that sets out there for Homeland Security grant is a cybersecurity project that Pavel has that I believe he's starting work on sometime this month. Keep in mind, Homeland Security grants up until this year have had a 3-year period of performance on them. So it was an FY24 grant, but we had 3 years to get the project done. So that's the only one that's of any size that's still standing out there. So we'll continue down the road, and hopefully things will open up at the federal level. We can start working on those again.
Thank you. Megan, do you have anything extra to add?
Well, I could just give you guys some good news. You've met Tim Snyder before. He's the first assistant, and he lives in Pittsfield. He just won his 16th jury trial in a row. And that's unheard of in Maine. Nobody wins jury trials that consistently, especially all of these are felony jury trials. They range from shaken baby to where there's lots of medical evidence, lots of doctors who have to come in, to sexual assault on a child, sexual assault on adults, domestic violence, strangulation, just kidnapping. He had a robbery. They're all big cases, and he's incredible. So I just thought you should know that you've got this Pittsfield attorney just really doing enormously beautiful work for Somerset County, and I'm just really proud of him. And he received a commendation at the prosecutors conference that we just went to in October, and was recognized by the state for the work that he's doing here. So just wanted to let you guys know that.
Did I miss anybody?
I think so.
No?
Have you heard enough from Dave?
I think he's heard.
Okay.
And Sarah, I see you back there. Do you want to have anything extra to say? You're good?
Thank you, Bill.
Okay. No unfinished business. New business. Resolution 25-181 to approve the appointment of Sarah Bickford as Somerset County EMA Director effective January 11th, 2026.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor? So go. Resolution 25-182 to approve the hire of Derek Spalding and Adam Corey as corrections officers for Somerset County Jail.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor? So go. Resolution 25-183 to approve the commission of Sidney Quigley as Sheriff's Deputy within the Somerset Sheriff's Office.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? So go. Resolution 25-184 to approve the extension of Baker Mountain Ski Lodge Matching Grant Program.
Second.
Discussion. Anybody want to say what this is for our audience out there?
You should have had an application in your packet, just a one-pager explaining that their roofing replacement or ceiling replacement at the Baker Mountain Lodge, it may be done in December, but they're not sure. Their grant period ends in December, so they've asked for an extension. They are very confident it'll be done by March.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Good. Resolution 25-185 to approve paying for the following matching grant awards from community benefit funds: Town of Jackman paramedic program, $15,000.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Good. Resolution 25-186 to authorize the transfer of civil forfeiture property to Somerset County Sheriff's Office. Walker, $15,930. Murphy, 2012 Jeep Patriot. So, discussion. All in favor? This one, background, Walker and Murphy are the two
Those are the cases.
Yep.
What's the sheriff's, I guess it's, what's the sheriff's office going to do with this old car?
So I asked the sheriff that question last week, and basically they will take anything like this and just utilize it as trade value toward the purchase of another kind of vehicle.
Yeah. So it's to go. We all said yes.
Yes.
Resolution 25-187 to authorize a request for proposals for a chief deputy vehicle.
Second.
Discussion.
What's the current status of the chief deputy's vehicle?
Get up there, high mileage, repairs are going to be pretty expensive. It's, we acquired it in 2000, and,
It's 25 years old?
no, 2020.
No.
So, yeah.
2020.
You'd be impressed.
And it's getting to 100,000 miles. We try to trade them to 100,000. Repairs get pretty expensive once we get over that.
Is this a park at home, use all day type vehicle?
It's a non-police vehicle, because police vehicles take a long time to get. It takes a year to get those type of vehicles. So we went with a non-traditional, like we used to have. Pickup trucks were actually cheapest of all the vehicles we bought, and so this is going to be a non-police vehicle we'll drive.
I know a Ford Expedition, 2,000 miles. Might be soon.
Low line.
That's going to be the Ford Expedition.
So, there's a motion and a second. All in favor? And that's just a request for proposal, so we'll see what we get.
We'll post it.
Yeah. Unorganized territory, resolution 25-188 to approve the fiscal year county services budget for the unorganized territory. John?
I make a motion that we approve the preliminary budget presented by David, but that we add to it, factor in $400,000 from TIF funds for a reduction down to projected reduction 2.5 tax increase. Can you clean that up for me?
He's already on it.
I'll get you out of the woods there.
Thank you.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Thank you. Resolution 25-189 to approve a grant of
Well, that'll be in the motion.
that was $9,500, I believe? No.
This is the fire truck.
Oh, that's right. This is the fire.
So I think we're moving to
Yes.
approve $300,000 with $200 to come from community benefit and $100,000 to come from TIF.
I have a question on that.
Is there a second?
Give me a second.
We need a second.
Second.
Okay, we have a
The question
second.
is, I thought it was reverse itself. I thought it was 200 from TIF and 100,000 from community benefit.
Because we're funding a municipality,
Okay.
the community benefit takes the larger share, and it's based on the 30% split that we normally do from the UT. So it's 2 from community benefit, 1 from TIF.
Correct.
Right.
That's how it's written.
Any further discussion? Good question. Thank you. All in favor? Let's go. Let's see, where are we now? All right.
This one you can edit down.
No, I can edit this one down. Resolution 25-190 to approve a grant of $9,500 from TIF to fund the Great Carrying Place Portage Trail Maintenance Project.
So move.
Second.
Moved to second. Discussion. All in favor? To go. Resolution 25-191 to authorize a request for proposals for road consulting services in the unorganized territory.
Second.
Okay, we got Scott and Joel.
I'll withdraw my, whatever.
That's how I heard it.
Okay, fine.
I would just add here that we already have a road consultant job posted. Our current road consultant has given us till June 30th. That's when he wants to be done. That's what he has promised his wife. And so, we're not anticipating a whole lot from that job posting. So this is a pivot to engineering companies, an RFP to engineering companies who may be willing and able to perform the same duties. So this will have obviously a higher cost factor involved with it. And so I have spoken to a couple that are interested in getting this RFP. So hopefully this will generate something that we can work with.
So on the job posting, we have that posted through MMA and other sources?
Correct.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor? So go. Warrants, Resolution 25-192 to approve the treasurer's warrant for the general fund, Somerset County Jail, and unorganized territories for a total amount of $863,491.62.
So moved. Sorry.
Discussion. All in favor? To go. Miscellaneous discussion items, commissioners only.
I have, there's two things. One, I just let everyone know there's a meeting on the bridge in Skowhegan at the new town police department at 6 o'clock tonight. I was going to go to that, so I'm interested in, I don't know if anybody else is. It's kind of in my district, but I thought it was interesting, so I mentioned it. The other thing is, we didn't really talk about our next move on registered fees, but I think from our previous discussions, we ought to just kind of pause that and just not worry about it for a while. It seems like we've exhausted the electorate on this issue and everybody else involved. So I assume we're just not going to do anything for a while on that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it might be a good time just to sit and contemplate the charter itself and see if there's anything else in there that's apropos. But any other thoughts on that?
I would just like to make sure that our current person in that position, if she needs help collecting signatures so that she moves forward, so that we can keep her, I'd be happy to help.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we all would.
We're happy.
Petition sheets.
And I think ginning up the charter revision is in the same category as ginning up another ballot measure. I mean, I just let me just back off for a while and let the water she gets out of
I think the people have spoken quite consistently, looking at the numbers.
Consistent. Well said.
I do have just a small report on from SAPI. I went to a SAPI meeting regarding the Shawmut dams and all the other dams at the river from Waterville up, and they are anticipating a water drop of about 20 feet, 15 to 20 feet. That would be leaving a depth of 4 to 6 feet of the river. That leaves their intake valve, where they draw the river from the water from the river, at 8 feet out of water. And their side, the mill side, will receive 35 feet, but the opposite side, which is the Benton Clinton side, would be 108 feet of a drop. And so with the pipe extension, they have challenges of ice and debris, especially at that low depth. And it's a 30 to 40% less river width. I did ask them if they had been interested in purchasing the dam. It was a question they did not ask either Brookfield or Natural Conservancy. I asked them if TNC had offered the budget to mitigate. They said there was one there, but they weren't clear on that. Also asked about the impact of the river community, and with the idea of how this will help, how will this impact all the people who live on the river. And we have a request to the municipalities about what's going to happen going forward. I had another question.
Did you ask them whether or not they had taken this eventuality into account when they made their major mill expansion there? Did they see this one coming, or is this?
That's why I asked them if they were interested in purchasing the dam, because it did seem to me that they actually didn't see it coming, or didn't see it, or they see it as coming, but not in the fashion that it has.
And did they discuss any other technologies that they might have to take care of the water intake, aside from sort of running a hose down into the rivers?
Well, we do have technologies for that, and they're at capacity. Their filtering is at capacity, so they can't do any more. If there's more degree in the lower water, there's more debris. There's going to be ice flows. So
reservoirs, lagoons, things like that. Pump stations.
Excuse me. They're looking into that. And the Nature Conservancy said that they will be helping them with any remediations that they can. So they didn't really have anything to say about what the viabilities will be. So that's how it stands with Sappi. They're at a tipping point. It's an amazing mill. Tremendous footprint. They're making a tremendous amount of product, and it's an international, worldwide facility. Actually, they're making stuff for the world. But I don't think we'll see them go away soon, though. I believe one of the technologies that is being looked at are fishways, and perhaps. And this is another question I asked them: what's the lowest water level or water head that they could have if they were going to lower the dam? Because that's a speculation of just lowering the dam a couple feet, and they could live with that. Any further, they're not so sure about, but that's another viable option, is to lower the dam head and put in the fishways.
Not why they bought. That's not why they want to buy that property.
No, that's not why the Nature Conservancy wants to buy the property.
Right.
I don't understand that.
Nature Conservancy buys the property. They've already told us flat out it's to remove the dams.
Right.
To bring the river back to its natural state for human beings is what they do.
I can't remember the number in terms of dollars on the mill expansion there. It seemed to be
$500 million.
Incredible that they would invest $500 million in a plant expansion without somehow taking into account or developing some sort of contingency plan for water intake and discharge. You know, they kind of woken up a month ago and said, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening." And surely they have somehow had a plan for this, which apparently they're not divulging. But I'd be amazed if a sophisticated corporation like that would be spending that amount of money without ever taking that contingency into account. But we shall see.
Right. So that's where it is from there. That's all I have to add.
Very excited
And I
to start
have
signing documents.
one other item, and that is to recess to execute documents.
Amen.
So, for awards, so they approved it, it'll go in the warrant.
Okay.
And so that way you should get a check to you. This one, I'm going to get it.
Okay, it's parts. This is the first part.
Notice of their approval. So I get your minutes.
Well, no, usually, what I'm saying is, we don't want to put money in the village. We've got
Verifying that they dedicated the money. You guys want to wait, or you want to?
No, we're good. I have a couple other items to touch on at some point. Yeah. You want me to just call you?
Yeah, that'd be fine. So Dave does most of that. No, I just put it all that. We can work together. Thank you guys for coming in.
No, thank you.
I told Dale.
Beautiful drawing.
All mountains covered snow. I got snow in October.
Everybody.
That's one of my games.
You work on his house.